Kitty Kart 64 is a truly creepy game, masquerading as a Mario Kart clone. Even from the title screen, you can tell something is off, right?
Welcome to Kitty Kart 64!
It's kind of become a theme of the channel, seeing how games done in a more retro polygonal style can really bring out the creep factor. Things seem pretty normal as the game begins. The controls feel really nice, surprisingly, and the color scheme is super vivid and cheery. After the first lap, we notice that the finish line's been torn down. Around the same time, we realize we don't have to stick to the track. We drive off-road a little bit before we find a block tower with ramps leading up the sides. Just do a little parkour here, no worries. At the very top, we find a drawing. The what? It's not a super happy drawing. Continuing on, we find the edge of the world. There are signs everywhere warning us not to, but having explored the rest of the area and seeing no other way to progress, we drive over the side to find a sludgy mud pit. Our cart will hardly move, and these signs sitting on top of the sludge start to sink as soon as we drive over them. In the distance, I can see something. Maybe a rabbit? Unfortunately, the cart starts to sink more and more the closer we get. Soon, our head's the only thing sticking out of the mud. Not long after that, we're on a new racetrack. A desert world similar to Dry Desert from Mario Kart. Is that a dog standing in the water? Oh damn, that dog is depressed. We do a lap and the world starts crumbling around us. Graphical glitches and flashes make for a terrible driving experience. The music is grating and broken. Music's a fucking bop, huh? We check in on our dog friend, only to find them laying face down, dead in the water. We could have done something like this. We drive up to them to get a better picture, and we find ourselves somewhere different than everything we've seen so far. It's still full of the same bright colors and blocks from the first level. This time it forms a maze. And all around the maze are scattered dozens of what seem to be digital bodies just writhing in pain. What's going on with you guys? Music begins to drone, adding to the tension. Eventually I had to turn it off. I just couldn't take it. As you wander, blocks fall over potential exits. Every time you think you found a way forward, your path is blocked once again. Finally, after wandering aimlessly for minutes, I find a gap in the walls. No exit, no finish line, just another cliff for us to throw ourselves over. Congratulations, says the text, but I don't really feel excited to be here. We're in a completely blank void, filled with balloons. We have a new counter at the top of the screen, suggesting that maybe we should pop some of these balloons. We do, and screams, blood. What exactly is going on here? Are these even really balloons at all? Popping the final balloon causes us to pop. We pop back into existence on a dismal highway in the rain. Not exactly realistic, but definitely more so than all the levels we've seen so far. This place is a maze, looping you through the same highways over and over, hoping you remember where you were before, with only these creepy, blank-faced simulacrums serving as mental markers. Even then, they're just there to let you know that you are, in fact, going in circles. There are more drawings here. Still nothing happy. By this point, the tension was really building. kept waiting for a jump scare, but it still hadn't arrived. The atmosphere was, for lack of a better word, oppressive. I know, it still looks like an N64 game, but the developer did an amazing job using more rudimentary graphics and visual style to unnerve the player. I spent most of my playtime on this level. No more music, just silence, aside from the droning of our cart. Finally, after driving for ages, we find an off-ramp that leads, of course, further down. We were still on the highway, but it was flooded now. There's a ramp leading over the edge, and not knowing what else to do, we drive over. The parking lot stretches out before us as far as the eye can see. I see a red mark on the ground ahead, looking like a pool of blood from a distance. As we drive close, I'm relieved to find that it's just an arrow. We head in the direction it's pointing, still seeing nothing ahead of us but a parking lot. Until, finally, out of the distance looms what seems to be a giant gray cube protruding from the ground. We drive around to the opposite side, though, and find another ramp. A ramp headed down. Down and down and down we go, into the parking garage below the parking lot. We go down a few floors before we see it. Is that the finish line? In a rush to get out of this place, I didn't notice the spike strip placed just in front of the finish line. My cart rolls to a stop just before we reach it. We hear footsteps, and then